Welcome guys to Talk Football with Tyrone. Here we do football analysis, football shows and football podcasts. Welcome. So today in our video we are going to analyze the Champions League match between Manchester City and Real Madrid. The match ended in a 1-1 draw, with Madrid having an XG of 0.7 and Manchester City having an XG of 0.6. This was a tactical chess match between Pep Guardiola and Carlo Ancelotti. And this is how both teams were lined up on the pitch. Manchester City starting with their default 4-3-3 formation and Real Madrid playing with their default 4-3-3 formation with the above personnel as the starting 11. Before we continue, I'd like to ask you to like, share and subscribe to our channel. So in the first place, we're going to look at Manchester City in possession. Like most opponents, Real Madrid pressed Manchester City high up the pitch when they tried to build up from the back. We know usually Pep Guardiola has been deploying Stones as a second pivot alongside Rodri, but Real Madrid came with a plan of pressing Manchester City high up the pitch by Benzema ensuring that he presses Stones to prevent Stones from progressing with the ball in midfield, and therefore Stones was forced to play as a centre back with the other midfielders picking the Manchester City midfielders. You can see from this setup here, Modric is picking Rodri, Valverde is picking Gundogan, and Benzema is pressing John Stones, forcing Manchester City to play on the other side. Real Madrid also went aggressively in their press, and in most instances they forced Ederson to go long where Madrid were able to retrieve the ball. You can see Haaland was being tasked to drop deep and create a midfield overload so that he can receive the ball directly from the Manchester City centre backs. This midfield overload prevented Manchester City from progressing with the ball, and when the ball was played on the other side, Akanji, being not traditionally a left back, would not be able to progress with the ball forward, and therefore when the ball was played to Grealish, Carvajal was ready to pounce on him, and that resulted in Carvajal receiving a yellow card in the match. Because of the 3v3 overload in midfield, Manchester City were forced to play down the left-hand flank, and when they played there, Grealish, upon receiving the ball, was immediately pressed by Carvajal and was forced to play back. So Pep Guardiola adapted to this by instructing De Bruyne to drop deep and receive the ball directly from his centre backs. But again, this position was not efficient for Manchester City because they were not able to create any goal scoring chances from this situation. Now, when Manchester City managed to progress with the ball to the halfway line, they went back to their default 3-2-5 formation with John Stones joining Rodri in midfield and playing as the second pivot. This position held by John Stones in midfield enabled Manchester City to create their favorite box-shaped formation with two holding midfielders and two attacking midfielders playing in between the lines in the half spaces. You can see this 3-5 formation with Stones playing in midfield and De Bruyne and Gundogan occupying the half spaces. Now, when Manchester City were in this shape, Real Madrid countered them by ensuring that their wide forwards were able to press the wide centre-backs, and this limited progression of the ball in midfield. This forced Ruben Dias to be playing long balls to Manchester City wingers, mainly Bernardo Silva, and trying to isolate him 1v1 against Camavinga, but Camavinga was able to deal with Bernardo Silva. Here you can see Real Madrid in their 4-1-4-1 defensive formation. Now, this 4-1-4-1 formation gave Kevin De Bruyne a chance to be making runs in the half spaces. This also gave chance for Bernardo Silva to be getting the ball and running at Camavinga, while Kevin De Bruyne also used to overlap as an overlapping midfielder outwards of Bernardo Silva, just as you can see from this clip here. This was to overload Camavinga in a 2v1 situation and create a situation of uncertainty. Now, Real Madrid adapted with this by dropping Valverde in the backline to form a back five. Hereby, all the front five of Manchester City were able to be man-marked by Real Madrid, with Modric and Kroos covering central progression, as you can see in this clip here. All the options of Manchester City with the 5-man attack have been covered with the 5-man Real Madrid's defense. Took a gamble by instructing Walker to be overlapping in the right hand side to give Manchester City a numerical superiority, but this was dangerous because of the pace of Vinicius and Rodrigo behind the Manchester City line. Now let's look at how Real Madrid positioned themselves in possession. So when Real Madrid tried to play from the back, Manchester City would press them with their usual 4-4 pressing strategy, like I have explained in Manchester City's video. But unlike Manchester City, Real had numerical superiority in midfield with a 3v2 against Rodri and Gundogan. Also, Benzema will be dropping deep to receive the ball. But in this instance, whereby they were in a 3v2 situation, Toni Kroos will be dropping in the defense line to create a 3v2 against De Bruyne and Haaland, enabling Real Madrid to easily pass Manchester City's first line of pressure. Here you can see Kroos has dropped in between the center backs and therefore giving Real Madrid a 3v2 advantage against the press from Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne. When Real Madrid managed to bypass Manchester City's first line of pressure, they preferred to create left-hand side overloads with Camavinga, Modric, Vinicius Jr. and Benzema all moving towards the left, and this made the entire Manchester City team shift towards the left to suffocate Real Madrid with the ball against the touchline. This resulted in Rodrigo receiving the ball in acres of space on the opposite flank, with Carvajal making underlapping runs to ensure Akanji did not come out to counter Rodrigo. Here, Real Madrid are creating a left side overload and they are dragging the entire Manchester City team towards the left hand side of the attack. They managed to do a 1-2 one-touch pass, and now Real Madrid are in a counter-attacking situation with Benzema and Vinicius Jr. running at the Manchester City defense. In instances where Real Madrid were managed to switch the play, Rodrigo was unmarked because Carvajal made underlapping runs, and this ensured Rodrigo was able to receive the ball in space and get to run at Akanji. Here you can see Rodrigo receiving the ball in space, and this enables him to be in a 1v1 situation with Akanji. Generally in this game, both teams managed to cancel each other, but the individual brilliance of Kevin De Bruyne and Vinicius Jr. ensured that both teams escaped with a 1-1 draw. We hope to see what will happen in Manchester. Give us a prediction of which team you expect will qualify to the Champions League finals. And if you've stayed with us till the end of the video, thanks for watching.